welcome to the Yarn and You Girl podcast. I'm Janine, also known as Yarn and You Girl, and this is my channel where I get to share with you all the crafting craziness that's happening in my world. I hope you all are doing well today. It is Tuesday, September 21st, and I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day. It's supposed to be like 80 degrees out later, but I thought I would wear my nice, cozy Ziggy Interrupted shawl just because, you know, feel like fall's coming on. I want fall to come on, and maybe if I wear all my hand knits, fall will eventually get here and I'll get to stay cozy and warm. Last time I was on, I didn't really get to talk to you guys very much about what's been some of the changes that have been happening, and I did mention that I got a new job. And I am working at a small little pharmacy now, just on Thursdays and Fridays mostly, which will be great. And it's just like 9 to 5. So it's very low key, minimal stress, which I'm grateful for. And I have all weekends off. I don't have to work nights. It's like a dream. So very excited about that. And there's lots of things happening with my kids too. Like my son Jordan just got his instructor's permit and he's going to be driving soon. In fact, he starts some driver's education course tomorrow. So that'll be interesting. I'm a little nervous. I think I'm going to end up like my mom, who used to scream and like yell every time we slightly tapped on the brakes when we were learning how to drive. So hopefully, cross your fingers for me that I will have patience and understanding for his driving ability. I'm sure he'll be fine, but so far Dad's only taken him out because I'm a little nervous to take him out. Maybe just in a parking lot or something for me to start. We'll see. But let's just get started. It's probably going to be a quick episode today, but I felt like I have finished some things. I feel like I'm on a roll. I've actually am working out projects that have been sitting and kind of stewing in my craft closet, and just trying to get rid of some of those whips that have been hanging around for a really long time. I think I was watching the Naughty Knitwits the other day, and they were talking about how, kind of guesstimating how many whips they had. And I was thinking about that too. And they had talked about maybe writing a list of whips. And I'm kind of afraid to write a list of whips because I think there's going to be a lot. And I'm not sure I want to rip them all out or get going on them, but I think writing them all down might be a little overwhelming too, but it also might be very good. So I'm debating in my head whether or not that I'm going to sit down and actually write out a list, kind of go through my bags, my project bags, figure out what's happening in them, and write out a list and see if it's something that I'm, willing to continue on with. I know I have like lots of single socks, so I'm trying to get the matches done, which I've finished one set that I'll show you here in a bit, and then I'm working on a second set that the match needs to be made for. So let's just get started with that. First though, I want to share with you my finished Calliope sweater. So this is Calliope by Espace Tricot. And it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it is a mohair held with fingering, and it's kind of a crop-ish sweater, not super cropped. I think it's maybe 13 inches from my underarm, which isn't normally my go-to, but it's a good length for overdresses and stuff. And I have this color is like my favorite color, and I have a lot of dresses that have a little bit of like olive in them, or I think it goes really well with pink. I don't know. I love it, and I've worn it already. I did have to extend the cuffs a little bit. So you start the 3x1 ribbing after just about like 7 inches of arm, and then you're supposed to go 9 inches, which I did that, and I don't know if I have abnormally long arms, but it was, I mean, it was a long sleeve, but it would creep up to about here when I sat down, and it kind of like pulled where it was supposed to. So I had bound it off. I was wearing it around. I decided that I did not like where the sleeve action was happening, so I undid each of the ends and then added another 2 inches to the sleeve ends. And then I also didn't like how my cast off edge on the first one had kind of flared out quite a bit. I try not to be super tight with my cast off edge because it can be very uncomfortable to put your hand through, but I also don't want to be so loose that it's flary. So when I had cast off with the 7, which is the size that you use for the main body, they also say to use it on the rib on the arm as well as the bind off edge on the bottom. The color is a smaller needle. The color is a 6. So I decided when I got to the last couple rounds of the ribbing on the sleeve, I did a 6 and then I bound off in a 6. And it still has a little bit of flare to it, but it's not as bad. And all the ends are woven in, and it's just luscious. It's so soft and cozy. I used Ollan Meara as the fingering base, and it's in the color Priestess. And I used it's Max's Khaki is the color, and it's dye to dye or something like that. It's I think it's a yarn that Max, the knitter, if you follow him on Instagram, he does some designs and he dyes yarn now. It's the color is Max's Khaki, and it's the mohair silk base, and I just absolutely love it so much. And I really love the Ollan Meara. I want to get some more for another sweater. It's kind of rustic. It's 100% fine merino. Kind of rustic, but not really rustic. It feels really nice. It's certainly not super wash. I definitely have to be careful, but I don't usually throw my hand knit sweaters in the washing machine anyway, so I'm not too terribly worried about that. But it's just gorgeous, and if this combination feels so good, I want another version of it or something similar. It's a really good fit for me. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I did the size, I think I did the 2nd size on it. Let me look really quick. I'm not sure if it comes in like small, medium. I think it comes in sizes like 1, 2, and 3 or something like that. And I did maybe the 3rd size. I think I did the 3rd size. Oh, no, I lied. I did the 2nd size. And that worked out to be great. It has just enough ease that it's not hugging my body and making me uncomfortable, but it's not so big that I feel like I'm drowning in it. It's like perfect. So I'd highly recommend this pattern for anyone who's interested in doing a sweater pattern. The collar is probably my favorite part, and it was super easy to do. Very good beginner sweater top down pattern, easy to follow, and well written. So if you're interested, it went really fast. So I think I bought the yarn and was done with the sweater in 2 weeks, which is really good for me because usually sweaters take me a lot longer, especially because, you know, if you're doing like a fingering weight sweater, it takes forever, or if there's a lot of detail or something, it can take me a little bit longer. But I absolutely love it, and I would recommend making the Calliope any day, making more of them maybe if you already have one, because it's such a good sweater. So that's my first finished object. Very excited about that. Can't wait for a little bit cooler weather to be able to wear that around and show it off. The next finished object I have is a pair of socks. And let me see if I can find my sock blockers. I see them. Hang on. These are Into the Woods. Forget her name. I'll have to look it up. I'm horrible at that, guys. But the pattern is Into the Woods, and it is these little kind of like trees you can see, created with some like dipped down stitches. And the yarn that I used is junk yarn, and it was on a club that she did, a superhero club, and this colorway is Squirrel Girl, which I think I mentioned last time. I have no idea who Squirrel Girl is, but they're really soft, and I'm banging things around, really soft, well done. They're knit from the cuff down. If you reversed them and tried to alter the pattern, your trees would be upside down, so they wouldn't really be trees. It wouldn't necessarily be bad, but they wouldn't be trees. And mine get kind of lost in this pattern because there's so much light and dark, but I really do like it. It would look great with a more of a solid, or even she did a colorwork version of this where the trees were all in a different color, which that would be kind of cool too. And easy to do. You just, you know, use the colorwork for the dip stitches, and pretty easy. I think she includes it in the pattern. I know she shows a picture of it in the pattern, so she might include a little tutorial with it, but I didn't look that far. So pair of socks done. Very exciting because this one's been sitting for a very long time. I think at least a year. I've had one sock and part of a sock done, and yeah, it's nice to have a full pair of socks. So that's my second finished object. The other finished object I have is my Burnside Bibs that I made. They're a sewing pattern by Sew House 7, and I did them in this rose colored like heavy linen, and they just came out of the wash, so they're a little wrinkly. They look obviously much better on, but last time I saw you guys, I think I was needing to like add the belt loops and finish the straps or something like that. And yeah, I've worn them a couple times now. They're very comfortable, super cute. I'll see if I can insert a photo so you can see what they look like on me. If I don't, you can check my Instagram feed. If I'm not able to insert the photo here, sometimes I'm a little not as tech savvy as I'd like to be. But I did top stitching, which is a fairly new skill for me, but I really like how it makes a garment look like you bought it at the store. Mine are a little wobbly in places, but nobody's going to be looking that closely at it, so I can forgive myself a little bit of error. Plus, you can't, I said it on my Instagram feed too, you can't be good at something if you never do it. So you have to keep trying, even if the first time, a couple times you try and do, it's, you know, turns out wonky. It's just never going to be good right off the bat. So the only way I can get better is to keep trying. So those are the Burnside Bibs. That's about the only sewing that I've been doing lately. I do have a couple other things that I want to make. I have another pair of overalls that I want to make, but I'm a little frustrated with my sewing machine at the moment. I don't know what this part of the sewing machine is called, so if anybody knows, let me know. The space between your presser foot and the plate, I don't know if that has a special name. Mine's pretty small, and anytime I have heavier duty fabric, I really have a hard time getting it through. I almost can't do it. Like I struggled with putting the belt loops on the Burnside bibs because the fabric of the linen was folded over, you know, doubled and then folded over, and then there was a layer of the pant material, and it was just really, really thick, and it was hard to get into the sewing machine and out of the sewing machine. And I don't know if sewing machines come with different space variations. Like mine doesn't have anything that looks like it might be adjustable besides like lifting the presser foot and lowering the presser foot, and I kind of want one that has a little bit more space or is adjustable. It's a really good sewing machine for lightweight and basic stuff, but I really want something that's a little bit fat, has a fatter space, because for denim or jeans, or if I want to do like, I did like a canvas backpack, wax canvas backpack a while back, and it was a struggle. And your sewing doesn't look very good when you don't have a lot of space, because it doesn't move very well under the presser foot and can bunch up, and it's just not fun. So if you know what that is called, let me know if that name has a little space, because I'm kind of thinking of just going down to, there's a place in town here called House of Sewing and Vacuum or something. I don't know why. Maybe somebody else knows the answer to this question. Why are sewing machine stores always like vacuum stores too? Do you know what I mean? Like they're all together. Like maybe you can't have a sewing machine unless you have a fancy vacuum cleaner. Like I don't really know. Doesn't make sense. But it's a place called House of Sewing and Vacuum, and I've gone there a couple times. In fact, I bought this sewing machine from them years ago, probably like 4 or 5 years ago at this point, maybe a little bit longer. And they've been so helpful with showing me how to do things if I needed help, helping me find presser feet that for certain, for zippers or certain little sewing tips or whatever. I don't know. But they've been really helpful. And so I think I was going to go down there and just kind of ask them if they knew of a sewing machine that was still fairly, I don't need anything super fancy, but I do want something with a bigger space, and I don't know what that's called. Plus, I've noticed when my pedal with this sewing machine, it's plugged in, and occasionally I'll go to press down on the pedal and nothing will happen, and it's like there's been a disconnect between the pedal and the sewing machine. It's not recognizing it, even though the plug is like pushed in all the way. So I don't know if that's just a over age, like it wears out the connection or what. But every once in a while I kind of have to joggle it a bit, and then it will recognize that my pedal is connected to the sewing machine, and then it will start working again. So that's a little frustrating too. I don't know if it's something that just can be fixed, but like I said, I want something that has a bigger space. So I might have to just look for something new. I've been just thinking about it. I don't need it necessarily, but there are a couple things that I want to make that I am putting off making because I don't want to make them with this machine there. I know it will be a struggle, and that's not fun when it becomes more of a chore to do something. So anyway, I have a couple works in progress that I wanted to show you guys too. Again, because I'm very proud of myself that I'm working through some of these projects that have been sitting around for a while. So this is my a pair of Oscillation Socks. This is a pattern that I designed. I specifically designed it for stripy socks. I've got two now that are specifically for striped socks, and this one, it has kind of like a ripple effect. The pattern is called Oscillation, and it's these like almost like a mini chevrons with garter chevrons between. It looks really cool. It has a it's definitely, it shrinks in a bit. So there's two sizes. There's a 64 stitch and a 72 stitch. And I think the 72 stitch would probably fit most people's foot very well also, but have a little more give. I did the 64 stitch and I really like the way that it looks. I think I've shown you guys these before. I did a rainbowy sparkle one and I did a different heel. This pattern it's worked from the toe up, and it uses a Flegel heel, and then it just has the patterning on the front of the sock and not on the back. So it goes fairly quickly. There are some purl rows, but the purl rows, there's really only 2 out of the 8 row repeat. So it doesn't slow it down that much. So once you get going, it's pretty quick. So I've got one sock. I had this sock done. I've had this one done for a while. But I had just started the toe of the other one and I put it down and didn't pick it up. And so I decided I would pick it up and finish it now that I finished the Into the Woods sock. So this is what I've got so far on the second sock. And I don't really care if my stripes don't match up. So I started at a different striping section than the other one, and I've gotten all the way to the part where I started the Flegel heel. So the Flegel heel is nice. It fits really well, and I never end up with holes in the side, so I do like that one for doing toe up. I also have enjoyed doing the OMG heel when I've done toe up socks as well. But in patterns that I write, I can't add the OMG heel to the pattern because it's a paid for pattern, and I don't feel like that's the right thing to do. So I, chose to substitute a Flegel heel instead. And the Flegel heel is, like I said, it's really nice too. So I'm on the heel and I'm working my way, and I literally did all of this yesterday. So it won't take me very long once I turn the heel to finish the sock. So I'm looking forward to that, because that will be nice to have those off the needles as well. And this is yarn from Freckled Whimsey. It was a yarn of the month club that she did, and I think the color is Oh Happy Day, I think. I'm not 100% sure if this is the right tag for that. Oh well, that's what I'm gonna call it, because I really don't know anyway. So that's one of the works in progress that I have going on. Very excited to have those, working those out. And then I had a sweater on the needles for a while, and it was the floral, it was one of Max the Knitter's patterns. It was, Once and Again sweater, I believe it's called. And it has the roses, colorwork roses on the yoke. And I'd started it and I just was struggling. Colorwork is harder for me. Or no, it's not Once and Again, it's Once and Floral. Blah. Colorwork is, I can do it. I feel like I can't get the tension just right. And if I knit like I normally knit, then the tension is too tight, and then when I pay extra attention and try to loosen it up a bit, then it's really loose. And these ones looked really sloppy, and I don't know if it was just my gauge was off so much. It just looked sloppy, and I knew I wasn't going to be happy with the way that it turned out. So I ripped it out. I was using Brooklyn Tweed Loft in the Barn Owl colorway as the base, and then I was using some Tuku fingering in two contrasting colors for the roses, which I really liked the color, but I wasn't really happy with the way things were turning out. So I decided to, like I say, rip it all out. And I had bought the Woolen Honey sweater pattern from Andrea Renee Knits a while back and never started it. I had actually bought the Barn Owl Loft yarn specifically for that pattern, and then when I saw the ones in floral, I was like, oh, I could use this, and I pulled it out. So I ripped it all out and I started the Woolen Honey, and it's on kind of a small circular needle right now, so I can't really stretch it out and show you, but I've got the first couple honeycomb rounds on the shoulders going here, and that's the back. So I'm looking forward to working on this. I was working on this pretty much exclusively, and then I decided to pick up those sock patterns and work on those. But this is the sweater pattern that I'm working on now. I realized I want to do, I think we talked about it last time, I talked about the stone crop, and I do want to do that because I bought that spin cycle yarn for it. But the gray yarn that I had, I don't have enough. I looked at the pattern, and I think I need at least 3 skeins, and I only had 2 skeins. So that one I'm not going to be able to do just yet. I need to figure out what my secondary, my main color is going to be for that, but I do really like that spin cycle yarn that I bought specifically for it. So I will be holding on to that, and then I just need to find the yarn for the main color. I'm a little not sure about it, and I don't know if this is just, I was looking at pictures of it online, and it looked like a lot of people had done, like, their yoke came down, and then the underarm was really, like, low. And I don't know if they had just done so much yoke before they did the underarm, and it was more yoke than necessary, or what. But the fit of that one, I'm not 100% sure on. So I'll just have to kind of wing it and see what happens. If anybody's made that one and enjoyed making it, liked how it turned out, message me or like a picture or your Ravelry ID or whatever, and if it's on your profile there, and I can maybe check it out. Like I said, I don't know. It's a little weird, some of them, and it could be the way that they had the fit of it on that particular body type. I'm not really sure. So we'll have to see, but that is still the plan for that spin cycle yarn. I think it will be very cute. I just need to find a main color. So I've got Woolen Honey going, so that's the sweater that I've got on the needles right now, and so far it's going really well. This was actually the first time I'd ever done a tubular cast on, which I have seen it. I know she's done it for other patterns, and I have usually skipped it and just done a regular cast on because it seemed a little fiddly. And it was a little fiddly, but I do like the way that it turned out. I mean, it looks fine. It's harder to tell. It's supposed to have like a rounded, it looks like the stitches sort of go over, almost like they've been folded over, and so you have this continuous stitch, like a rounded edge, I guess. And that seems like it'd be really good for a brioche project, hat, that kind of thing. So I'm not sure, it was a little fiddly. I'm not sure if I'm sold on it yet, but I do really, I liked learning it. It was fun. It was, like I said, a little fiddly, and it's a couple rows where you're doing the cast on, so you get the main stitches on there, and then you have to knit and slip stitches, and then you do another row where you're knitting and slipping stitches, and then that's your cast on edge. So it's like 3 different steps to actually get the row done. So it was a little odd, but I was happy to learn it. I'm a little scared sometimes of new techniques and stuff because you get comfortable with what you're used to and sometimes don't want to branch out, but I am trying to force myself to branch out and try different skills and hopefully keep my brain healthy. You guys, if you've been watching me, you know my mom's got Alzheimer's, and so there's no real preventative, but I'm scared that it will happen to me. So part of the things, some of the things you can do is try to learn new things all the time, eat healthy and exercise. So basic good lifestyle choices. So yeah, anytime I can learn a new skill, I think, yay, I'm keeping my brain from rotting and decaying in my head. Anyway, so I did buy some more yarn, and I bought the Douglas cardigan pattern. I do really like Andrea Mowry's patterns. I think they're beautiful. I think she's super prolific, and I usually try to buy them when they're on sale because I also feel like she charges a bit more than most designers do for their sweaters, or their patterns in general. So I try to buy hers when they're on sale. And usually I follow her. I'm like subscribed to her newsletter, and if you subscribe to her newsletter, you get discounts the first like week that they are released. So it's like 20% off. So it makes them a little bit more average price. So sometimes even if I'm not planning on making it right away, if I like the pattern, I will purchase it when it's released, because then I will have the pattern and I won't have to buy it later at the full price. So I like getting the sale price. The Douglas cardigan is like a striped cardigan. It's like in these muted rainbow, muted pastel colors, something kind of. She does it in Tuku DK, which I looked at because I get Tuku fingering for the shop. The Tuku DK, I looked at getting some of that for the shop as well. And then, but they didn't have all the colors right now. Oh, excuse me. And I felt like if I was going to get it, I should get, a full stock of them. And they didn't have all the colors. So I was at another yarn store the other day and saw the Brooklyn Tweed tones. So the Tuku is a DK that she uses for the pattern. The tones is more of a worsted, but I think it would be all right. I think it'll be a close enough fit. It's about 180 yards per 100 grams. I think the DK, excuse me. It might be more like 250 per 100, but I'm not sure. I think I'll be able to make it work with this, even if I have to use like a bigger needle size and make, a smaller size or something. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, whether or not how I'm going to swatch, that kind of thing. I did buy almost enough. I thought I had enough. I want to make this second size, I think, that she has. It's I have a cardigan right now that I bought at the store, and it's like the old man cardigan, and I love it. I put it on over everything, and so I kind of want to have the same fit as that one. And so I thought that I got enough yarn for what that size was. So I'm going to make the second size, and it's a 50-inch across the chest, which I'm like a 35-inch, so I think that will be fine. It's the same size that she shows in the model, but I didn't realize, so most of the skeins, wow. So the Tuku is 273 yards per 100 gram, and this is, it's 140, Oh no. Yeah, this is 140 per 50, so this would be 280. So that should be enough. So I had to buy two 50-gram skeins of each color, the contrasting colors, except for the main color, I had to buy four. Well, I thought I only needed to buy two of the contrasting color stripes, but there's one, the fifth color, you actually need two. So that means that I probably need a third skein. I don't imagine I will need 4 skeins of that color because it's like all the other sizes. Size 1 needs 1, size 2 and up use just 2 skeins of the Tuku. So I bought 2 skeins of the tones. If that makes any sense. I feel like I'm confusing people, but I bought 2 skeins of the tones, but I think I will need 3 for that particular section, that color. And it's a striped cardigan, and it's big buttons, and it's a grandpa. So the tones are kind of cool because you have either an overtone or an undertone of a specific color. So depending on what palette or how you want to do it, you could have like a gradient style where you have the 2 colors, you know, working together, or more of like a tone on tone sweater. But I got 2 of this. This is one of the colors. It's showing up kind of blue, but it's actually sort of a minty green. It's Granita. It's the overtone version of Granita. And it's a different kind of wool too than it says it's a worsted, but it's American Colombian wool. Columbia. Did I say Colombian? I probably did, didn't I? Columbia wool. It feels really squishy, and it's not like Loft or what's the bigger one? Query is the huge one. I can't remember. Why can't I remember oh my gosh. Anyway, it's not like that. It says it's woolen spun. Kind of like that would be, but it also has a little bit of a twist to it. So it's a different spin, a different way that they put together the yarn, you can tell, than the other one. Because like the Loft is very, I don't know, it kind of looks like it has a slight spin, but this looks more structured, I guess. It looks more like a worsted spun, but it's not. It's a woolen spun. I don't know. So it has a little bit of that rustic feel. But anyway, I really like it. So I've got this Granita color, and then I've got the overtone version of Wallflower, which is like a lavender pink. So those are really pretty together. And like I said, you can't even tell on the computer screen. The light's like busting out. And then I bought Zest, the undertone of Zest, which is like a green. So I've got like a turquoisey mint, that lavender purple, pink, the green, and then I have this overtone of goldfinch, so like a yellow marigold kind of colorway. And then I have the overtone of baseline, which is just a very light gray. So I think that'll be cool. I have 4 of the gray and 2 of all the other colors. And what I need to do is, since I bought these online and I bought them from 2 different stores, because the one store I was looking at they only had like an undertone where I wanted the overtone color. And so I ended up getting them from 2 different stores. But I need to write down the lot numbers, and I'm going to try to go and see if I can find just one more skein of any of the other colors, any of those 4 colors, and if I can find one that matches them, that'll be my 5th yarn E colorway, because E apparently needs a little bit more than the other colors. So That's not happening, you know, anytime soon because I want to work on the Woolen Honey, but it's in the works, and I think it'll turn out really, really nice. I'm excited about it. Plus, when I bought it, I got like a free raglan sweater pattern with it, so that was kind of cool. So I think the pattern's called My First Raglan or something. It's Jared Flood. It just looks like a basic raglan, but for this particular yarn, so the gauge was made specifically for this. So yeah, anyway, oh, I got one more thing I want to show you guys. It's a crochet thing that I'm working on. This is something that's not absolutely new, but I had purchased it and I didn't end up showing it to you last time. So it's a crochet blanket, and it's this sunflower blanket. I don't really have a great picture of it here, but it's a bunch of different sunflower patches put together to make this really cool blanket. And I don't know if, you know, I'm going to make it and gift it or what, but I have only gotten the yarn. I got a kit. It came with all the yarn. The pattern is free, I believe. It's just called Sunflower. And it's a little involved, but it's so pretty. So I made one square, and this is that square. I showed it on Instagram a while back. And I have to make like a few of these, but some of them have different like outer backgrounds and things like that. So I've just made one, but I'm really excited about it. I think the yarn is like a cotton acrylic. It's plain Jane yarn. The kit was like, all the yarn was like $50. It wasn't bad at all. I got it on Etsy. And it's a cotton acrylic. So it'll be good like baby blanket. It's, you know, should go fairly quickly if I put my mind to it. We'll see. But it's beautiful. It came in 2 different versions. You could buy, there was a farm version, and then there was like one that was more of a dark blue instead of like a teal. So I got the tealy version because I like the teal better. And it came with like some cute little scissors and a little like tape measure and a little case with some crochet hook, not hooks, but stitch markers that have they're the plastic ones that kind of locking stitch markers. It came with the crochet hook. It was like everything you needed. It was perfect. So I have been working a little bit on that, but just on that one square. And I realized I hadn't shared it with you, even though I did it a while back. I hadn't shared it with you yet, so I wanted to make sure to show you guys that. But that's pretty much all I have today. I just wanted to pop on, try to be more consistent with you guys. I'll say that, and then I probably won't be on for like months, but I had some time today, so I thought I'd spend it with you. You guys have a great rest of your week. Thank you.